Did you know that on average, a whopping 70% of online shoppers abandon their carts? That's right, 7 out of 10 people that start shopping on your site never actually purchase. If you don't have optimized cart and checkout abandonment flows in place, you're leaving serious money on the table. And I mean big money. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to turn those missed sales into wins with some powerful flows. Whether you're just setting them up for the first time or looking to supercharge the existing ones, this is where the magic happens. Stick with me because by the end of this video, your abandoned carts will be a thing of the past. But before we dive in, let's do the math. Let's say you have 1,000 visitors per day. Out of 1,000, 100 will add to cart. And out of 100, 70 will leave their carts. So we're aiming towards a 10% recovery rate, so that means 7 people. We're recovering 7 people. So 7 times an AOV of $100, that's $700 per day. That means 21K per month. So let's get straight into it. So I'll be going over 3 things, which are full flow strategy, flow setup, and I'll be showing you a couple of examples for you to steal and put your own spin on it. So to begin with, it's important that you understand that abandoning cart and abandoning checkout are 2 different things. This is cart, as you can see here. We can have it as a page or a sidebar, and this is checkout. So this will require different flows, even though the flow structure is the exact same, just because we have to use different triggers for each one. This is the trigger for the abandoned checkout, and this is the one for the abandoned cart. For the abandoned cart, you will have to set the tracking on Shopify. So I'll leave a link in the description with the Klaviyo blog post with the step-by-step. Keep in mind that Klaviyo suggests an abandoned cart flow, but it is actually an abandoned checkout flow. If you check the trigger, you'll see it, so be careful. Flow structure. This is the strategic part of the game, where we define how many emails we're sending, if we're using graphic or plain text, and the overall conversion plan. And this will be the exact structure for both flows, so you can just create one and duplicate it. Then you'll just need to change the trigger, as I mentioned before, and change some filters as well. But we'll be going over it. I went with the most complete and optimized version. If you're only getting started, you might consider using a simpler version, but what I want with this video is for you to get the most out of this flow, so I'll be covering everything you need to know to maximize the results. So, trigger is cart or checkout started. And from the top we begin with a split. This is a pro tip. Here we'll be splitting by order value. As you know, free shipping is an important thing for a customer's decision, and so if you have free shipping starting at a certain value, we want to let people know they qualify for it. This will highly increase your conversions. If they don't qualify, you don't want to mention it, so that's why we want to split. You can choose to only mention it in the first email and then bring people back to this flow, or even better, you can just build it and then duplicate the structure and add free shipping mention to all emails. So the first email is just a reminder to let people know they left something behind. But please keep in mind, this is the email with the higher chance of conversion, so please keep it simple. You just want to remind people and let them know in case you have free shipping. Don't overload it with information and graphics. And now another split, another pro tip. The sooner you make this split on your flow, the more you'll convert, and that's simple to understand. As you can see, email 2 and 3 will be for testimonials and product details. Very important stuff for customers who are still on the edge. And we'll be splitting by product, so it's natural that if the emails are tailored to what I have in my cart, I will have higher chances of buying. You wouldn't believe how many emails I receive with content that don't even relate to the things I have in a cart, and that's obviously not a good thing. And if you have loads of products, you can always consider to tailor the information only for your bestseller. and address the remaining ones in a more general but cohesive way. Now, email 4. In this email, we want to focus on reducing friction and increasing urgency. So to reduce friction, you want to mention things like a guarantee, a relevant certification your product might have, and your shipping details. And to increase urgency, you already know the drill. Mention low stock or say the product is selling fast. And now you have an optional split. Here we're differentiating our approach to people who bought in the last 60 days and the people who didn't. For the ones who did purchase, we send them a personal email just checking in on them. And we use a plain text email to sound more personal. And for the ones who haven't bought in a long time, we want to go with a more aggressive approach once they have a higher possibility of entering an unengaged segment and never buy again. So for them, we use a common sequence, which is giving them a discount with a certain time frame. Then we send them a last call email to add more urgency. And then I like to go with a personal email for a last reminder to make it feel more realistic and increase the FOMO in people. By the way, if you're enjoying the tactics so far, comment below what strategies do you want me to share next. Now that we have a killer flow structure, let's head over to Klaviyo so I can show you how to do the setup of the flow. Okay, so under flow section here in Klaviyo, you want to click create flow, and now let's search for abandon. And as you can see, we have two of them here, but one of them is for checkout and the other is for cart. To make it easier for this video, we're going to make the checkout abandonment flow because the trigger doesn't require any extra setup. But don't forget to check the link for the add to cart trigger setup. Now you can just delete all this content and leave only the first email. So we already have the trigger checkout started, but we have to check the profile filters. We don't want everyone who started checkout. We have to exclude people who purchased and people who have been in this flow recently. So following the logic, if this was a cart abandonment flow, we would have to exclude also the people who reached checkout. Okay, it's like layer by layer. So we want people who didn't purchase, so what someone has done, placed order 0 times since starting this flow, and has not been in this flow in the last 15 days. You can play around with this delay according to your AOV. The higher the amount, the longer the sales cycle is, so keep this in mind. And you can also be more aggressive and go down to 7 days. So let's set our first time delay, 40 minutes. Now for our split by order value, we need to add a trigger split. So trigger split, value is at least, and now you define your value. Email 1, another time delay, and this one you want to set up for 23 hours. And the reason is that we want to delay it for around 24 hours since the event started, once people tend to be on the phone around the same hours every day. Was this a great tip or what? Come on, give me a thumbs up. And now the second split based on product. Trigger split, items, and then you select the product you want right there, like here. Email 2 for version 1 and email 2 for version 2. Another time delay of 1 or 2 days. Now, same for email 3, 2 versions. time delay, email 4, and now bring this path back in, merge it before the time delay, don't forget that. Now time delay, now the split for the last 60-day buyers. So conditional split, what someone has done, placed order in the last 60 days. Let's have the 5th email for each of the paths. And now for the non-buyers, we can add email 6 and email 7. Now let's head over to the top, and after this first email, you have to decide between two possibilities. You can either duplicate these steps into this path and add the free shipping mention, or you can choose not to mention it after the first email, and in this case you can simply reconnect this path like we did before. If you want me to make an entire video on how to split test and take this to 100% efficacy, comment split to let me know. Now that the entire flow is set up, let me just give you a quick note. I told you to preserve this first email right here because of the link that goes straight into the checkout, this one right here. This way you can just copy it and paste it into your design links, and after you can just delete the button. Before you go, let's just go over some examples so you can copy the structure for your own brand. So I like this first one a lot. This would be a very good first email for the flow. We have a bold opening line that brings urgency from the beginning. We saved your cart, so it keeps the strings attached. And then I can clearly see the item in the cart and the CTA button. Besides that, we just have here a simple design block to give a sense of community. Simple, no distractions, straight into what matters. Please keep in mind you should always focus on having your headline and your CTA on the top of your email. If it's usual to have several items on your cart, that would drag the button way down, so considering adding another button in the top of your email. Now, this is what we don't want to do. We have to scroll down to see the cart and the button, and that will hurt your conversions, okay? Don't prioritize looks or vibes over efficiency and conversions. And this last one would be a great example for you to use further down the flow if you choose to give a discount. See how they prioritize what matters? You can understand the entire message of your email straight away without any effort or scroll. And as I said, you have even a button before the item list. And that's it for today. I hope you like it, and follow me if you want to scale your brand without relying on ads. And if you want our personal help to grow your email revenue up to 50% of your total brand's revenue, check the link below and book a call or send me a message on Instagram.